The Watchtower Society dug its own grave by handing over the key to the UK government to its entire empire. By merging over 1,200 charities into a single entity, they didn't just simplify their paperwork, they demolished their legal firewalls that protected them for over a century. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. This is Tell Me Dr. K, a channel manipulative religious leaders wish you never discover. If you crave for deep dives like this one, subscribe and smash the notice bell for more. Now, what this means is that one single regulatory failure in one congregation or one charity can bankrupt the Kingdom Hall Trust. Now, this isn't just a policy change. It's a self-inflicted legal trap. In March 2022, the governing board of the Jehovah's Witnesses executed a legal maneuver that on paper looked like a masterstroke of corporate efficiency. They dissolved more than 1,200 congregation charities and merged them into a single massive entity, the Kingdom Hall Trust. Now, at that time, the rank and file were told it was for simplification, a way to relieve local elders of the burden of paperwork. But as we stand in 2026, it is becoming clear that this move was the organization's biggest strategic blunder in 100 years history in Britain. By building a single, centralized fortress of their money and property, they didn't just simplify their administration. They created a single point of failure. Today we are exploring how the Kingdom Hall Trust became the very hook the UK Charity Commission is likely to use to pull the entire organization into light. The end of the firewall strategy. For decades, the Watchtower operated in the UK using a single firewall strategy. Each Kingdom Hall had its own registered charity. If a local elder in Leeds or any other place committed a crime or mishandled a child abuse case, the legal liability was contained to a specific local charity. The branch could simply just say, "We only provide spiritual guidance. We don't control their day-to-day operations." The turning point, March 4, 2022. The firewall was demolished. The Watchtower invited and eventually required all 1,279 independent charities to merge into the Kingdom Hall Trust. Charity number 275946. Why this is a grave? Centralized liability. The Charity Commission no longer has to investigate 1,200 separate entities. They only have to investigate one. Number 2, master key. If the Commission finds mismanagement regarding safeguarding in one congregation today, that finding now applies to the entire trust. Number 3, no more excuses. By making every congregation a branch of the Kingdom Hall Trust, the society legally admitted that the central leadership does have control over the local affairs. They traded their legal shield for a bit of administrative convenience. And the Charity Commission was waiting. The 214 million red flag. Money attracts eyes, specifically the eyes of a taxman and regulator. According to 2024-2025 financial filings, the Kingdom Hall Trust is sitting on total reserves of £214 million. By centralizing the deeds of nearly every Kingdom Hall in England and Wales, the Watchtower Society created a massive target. In the UK, a charity must prove its public benefit to keep its tax-exempt status. The gift aid trap. The organization relies on millions of pounds in gift aid, where the UK government adds 25% for every pound a taxpayer donated. But a gift aid is a privilege, not a right. If the Charity Commission determines that the harm done by the trust policies, like shunning or the two-witness rule, outweighs the benefit of their preaching, they can revoke the Kingdom Hall Trust status. If the Kingdom Hall Trust goes down, the 214 million property portfolio is no longer a religious asset. It becomes a massive tax liability. They put all the eggs in one basket, and now that basket is in the hands of the UK government. The 2023 Inquiry Report. On August 4, 2023, the Charity Commission ended its 9-year investigation into the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society of Britain. The Society's PR team spun this as a victory. If you read the fine print, it was actually a death warrant. The Commission stated, the charity, Watchtower, is no longer responsible for safeguarding. Following the merger, the Kingdom Hall Trust, KHT, is now responsible for safeguarding the congregation members, the Boomerang. The society thought it was escaping inquiry by moving responsibility. Instead, they just gave the Charity Commission a new target. It is reported that immediately after closing the inquiry, the Commission opened a regulatory compliance case into the KHT. I don't know where Bromley did not see this coming, why it matters in 2026. In the 2025 legal case, the Kingdom Hall Trust versus Davis, we saw the trust acting like a sophisticated property entity in resolving disputes. The UK Trust are now treating the KHT as a singular corporate body, not a collection of humble volunteers. Every time the KHT wins a property dispute, they reinforce the status as a manager of congregations, providing a Charity Commission's point that they are responsible for everything that happens inside those walls. The new light as damage control. This brings us to the new light of 2024 and 2025. Many witnesses think that beards and pants were a spiritual gift. What they don't realize is where this came from. Analysts see them for what they are, legal mitigations.
Before we conclude, the governing body has asked me to read the following announcement. The governing body has decided that sisters may choose to wear slacks when participating in the ministry and when attending Christian meetings, assemblies, and conventions. If a sister chooses to wear slacks on such occasions, they should not be casual, but dignified, modest, and appropriate. When a sister has a part on the program, she should wear a skirt or a dress, if that is the standard of dress in that land. Of course, some sisters may choose to wear a skirt or a dress even when they do not have a part on the program. In addition, brothers may choose not to wear a tie or a jacket when participating in the ministry and when attending Christian meetings, assemblies, and conventions. If a brother chooses not to wear a tie or a jacket on such occasions, he should dress in a manner that is appropriate, modest, and dignified, not casual. When a brother has a part on the program, he should wear a tie and a jacket, if that is the standard of dress in that land. Of course, some brothers may choose to wear a tie or a jacket even when they do not have a part on the program.
Intriguing question. How should we view a brother who chooses to grow a beard today? The governing body has asked me to read the following announcement. A number of branch offices around the world have written to us indicating that there continue to be questions about whether or not it is proper for a brother in an appointed position to wear a beard. After prayerful consideration, the governing body has concluded that there is a need to clarify this matter. The governing body does not have an issue with brothers wearing beards. Why not? Because the scriptures do not condemn the wearing of beards. Furthermore, as time has passed, we have noted that in many lands, it is acceptable for men who hold responsible positions in business and government to wear beards. Thus, whether a brother wears a beard is a personal decision. A brother's qualifications to serve as an elder or ministerial servant are based on his spirituality, not on whether he chooses to wear a beard. This direction also applies to special full-time servants at Bethel and those in the field, including special pioneers, missionaries, and circuit overseers. In harmony with Romans 14:4, neither the elders nor any other Christian should feel compelled to judge a brother who chooses to wear a beard. We trust that these comments will help us to remain on guard against anything that might cause division among Jehovah's people.
The Charity Commission's Public Benefit Test, specifically guidance PB1 and PB2, looks for detriment harm. Focusing on a woman wearing a pant is a minor control. But shunning family members and prohibiting contact with a removed person is a major human rights red flag. The recent change allowing a simple greeting to disfellowshed people at the Kingdom Hall was a direct attempt to soften the shunning narrative before the Commission. They are trying to move the goalposts just enough to satisfy the public benefit requirement without actually giving up control. But by changing these God-given rules under legal pressure, they have admitted to the Commission that their doctrines are negotiable.
With the scriptural admonition at 1 Corinthians 5:11, when a person has been removed from the congregation, we stop keeping company with that person, not even eating with such a man. That means we don't socialize with those who are removed from the congregation. However, that does not mean that a Christian could not invite a disfellowship person to attend a congregation meeting. That disfellowship person could be a relative, a former Bible student, or someone we were close to in the past. How appropriate this adjustment is at this time, as we're preparing for the most important meeting of the year, the memorial, which will be held on Sunday, March 24th. What if a disfellowship person comes to a congregation meeting? Under our current arrangement, we don't say a greeting to individuals who've been removed from the congregation. However, the governing body has decided that publishers can use their Bible-trained conscience to decide whether to give a simple greeting and welcome a disfellowshipped individual who attends a congregation meeting.
Hi, so good to see you here.
Thank you.
While we wouldn't have an extended conversation or socialize with such a person, we do not need to ignore him completely.
The conclusion, the inevitable reckoning. The Watchtower tried to be too clever. They thought that the Kingdom Hall Trust would be a shield that protected their billions and shielded their leaders. Instead, they created a single point of failure that has unified their assets, their liabilities, and their safeguarding failures into one easy-to-regulate target. In 2026, the question is no longer if the Charity Commission will act, but it's a question of when they will act. When that 200 million shield cracks, the organization won't just lose its money. It will lose its legal right to call itself a charity in the UK. The Watchtower didn't just build a trust, they built a cage, and they're the only ones left inside. If a religion is forced to change its eternal truths just to keep its tax break, who is really in charge? The governing body or the Charity Commission?
Recently, we've had updates about dress and grooming. We've talked about beards for brothers, slacks for sisters, and the use of jackets and ties for brothers. We're thankful that Jehovah trusts us in these matters. But some questions come up. First of all, do these adjustments about dress and grooming mean that we are lowering our standards? Not at all. Our worship of Jehovah deserves our deep respect and honor. These adjustments should not dilute the depth of our appreciation for serving Jehovah. More so, it's a recognition that styles change over time, and that what's considered acceptable, dignified dress for certain occasions also changes.
If this deep dive has opened your mind, kindly do us a favor. Like, subscribe, and smash the notice bell so that when we upload another deep dive, you receive a notification. The more you subscribe, like, comment, and share, you are giving us the support to continue bringing you more deep dives.